interview with Constance and Champagne, winemaker and brand ambassador for Champagne Lallier. We are go in 3, 2, 1.
Hey happy champers, it's Marnie from Bubble and Flute here, and I am super excited because I have a very special guest this afternoon with me for this Facebook Live. We have Constance from Lallier from the Champagne House of Lallier, and she is doing a whirlwind tour of Australia and New Zealand, and we are so lucky that she's with us for this afternoon. So we're going to have a chat with Constance about her background and the Champagne House, and then we're going to have a little mini tasting with her as well. So you're not going to hear too much from me. It's going to be mostly hearing from Constance in her beautiful French accent, and she'll probably pick me up on all the ways I generally destroy the French language. So bienvenue, welcome. And let's just start by telling happy champers. That's what I call my followers, because in Australia we have this thing where we say, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
No, never.
It just means, I'm a happy camper means everything's going well, I'm really happy. So I've turned it into happy champers. So that explains why I say that at the beginning of all my videos. So kick off by introducing yourself to happy champers who follow Bubble and Flute.
So I'm Constance and Champagne, as you say already, and I'm an enologist and a brand ambassador for Champagne Lallier. So, but first I grew up in Bordeaux, and because I come from Bordeaux, and I made all my studies in Bordeaux. So I always used to work for red wine, and after Bordeaux I moved in South Africa, and then I wanted to start to work for champagne, because in fact I really enjoy to drink champagne. And I think the blend in champagne is just amazing and very interesting, so I really wanted to see how we can do it.
Fantastic.
Yes, it's a lot of...
Are there some similarities between winemaking for Bordeaux or Bordeaux Burgundy and winemaking for Champagne?
Actually, for red wine, in Bordeaux and in South Africa it's all the same. You have, a lot of work in the vineyards, so as for champagne, but you have more work in the cellar, because as you know you have to do some pump over, some pigeage, and so you have to extract tannin, color, and a lot of things for red wine, but you don't do it for white wine, because you don't, in fact for the white wine, so for the champagne, you pick the grape and you directly gonna press after to pick the grape, and because you don't want in fact some colors, and you don't want tannin, so it's not the same thing. But after for the blend, you have more cuvée we're gonna be on the champagne, because you have the cuvée from the year, so the wine from the year, and because we have 55 vats in our cellar, it's a lot of aromatic profile, so a lot of things for the blend, but we have also the reserve wines. So it's like last time I took a picture about when we do the first step for the blend, and it was like 50 bottles at least, and it's just amazing. So it's the first one, and after, but you test like every day and every week, because you can't do it in one time, it's impossible. And for red, you have also some blend to do, but still it's smaller, but it's also different. So both are very interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's fantastic. And so can you tell us a little bit about the house? It's not going to show very well because the light is so bright, and it's going to be backwards there. So, but tell us a little bit more about where you work now, which is Champagne Lallier.
Yeah, exactly. So for this one, we are located in Aix. And it was founded in 1906 by René Lallier. And in 1936, Aix was classified as Grand Cru, and you have just 17 villages classified as Grand Cru, and and it's just 5% of the production in Champagne. So it's a very good sign of quality when you just produce your wine from this grape area. So yeah, we are very focused on Grand Cru. So we always want to select the cream of the crop. We say la crème de la crème.
Yeah, oui.
And so for that, we just work with Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, because you don't have Pinot Meunier on Grand Cru village. Even if you have good champagne, of course, with Pinot Meunier, but us, we prefer to work with Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, because as you know, the Pinot Noir gonna bring the full body, and the Chardonnay is nice freshness and the minerality. But when it's mature, gonna bring also some creamy aroma, like brioche aroma, and so it's very elegant and very good champagne as well.
So you don't use any Pinot Meunier?
No.
Which is not. I mean, it happens, but it's not common.
It's
is
rare.
it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's rare
Yeah.
that you don't.
Normally,
use.
they all the bigger champagne house they all use like 3 varieties, and they also use some vines from Premier Cru because they produce more than 1 million bottles, so they can't just work with the Grand Cru village. And us, because we produce like 450,000 bottles, 450,000 bottles. We can keep up the quality like this. So it's very good.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting.
And yes, for all the range as well, we produce our own yeast. It's wild yeast. In fact, we're gonna come from one of our best parcel in we call it Loredon. It's in Haï, and so it's the wild yeast gonna create some natural sulfur. So like this, we can add less sulfur, and it's very important because many persons are very sensitive about sulfur, and me, I am. So so for this one, we put definitely less compared to other champagne house as well.
And champagne compared to wine, so just so I can explain it to some of the followers, is that sulfur is used to help preserve wines, is that correct?
Yeah.
And there's generally less sulfur in champagne than there would be in still wine? Not necessarily?
No, not necessarily. It's like you always put more sulfur on white grape, on white wine, and a little bit less on red. But after, no, it depends. For example, in Alsace, you're gonna use a lot of sulfur. In Champagne, no, not a lot, and especially for our Champagne house. And after in red, now everybody try to use like the less sulfur that they can. Like it's we call it raisonné, viticulture and viniculture, viticulture and vinification raisonnée. When you take care about the sulfur and you don't use like a lot. If you use a lot, it's really very good. But it depends on the wineries, of course.
And founded in 1906, which for us in Australia is a really, really long time, but for Champagne, maybe not so long.
Some I don't remember the Champagne house, the older one. I think it was in 1836 or 50, something like that.
Yeah.
It's so it's in fact it's not so long after, but it's
not
still
too long.
Yeah. But and it's. So at the beginning, it was that was the same champagne house, and it was owned by 2 brothers, and they both wanted to do their own champagne. So they separate the vineyards, and they did René Lallier did Champagne Lallier, and the other one did Dutch. So it's so it's still a good sign of quality as well, and it's very famous in Champagne. And in 1996, the owner now. And cellar master used to work as a consultant with René James Lallier, the grandfather, the owner grandson. Sorry. He knew this champagne house since a long time. And in 2004, when the grandson owner wanted to sell the champagne house because he didn't get any children, so he wanted to sell it. He asked to Francis Tribault, and of course he said yes because. It's a very lovely champagne house, and because he's a man from the terroir and he comes from Champagne, and he was already owner of vineyards in Champagne, so he could buy it. So he did it, and it's a very good choice.
And how long have you been with Lallier?
Me since 1 year.
Okay.
So it's very new, and but it's I don't want to leave.
I bet. And what's your favourite part of working in Champagne? I know it'll be hard to pick just one.
Obviously I love traveling and speak about the brand, but I love to speak about the brand because I participate during blend, so it's an harvest, so that's 3 parts. It's everything. I wanted to find a work where I could participate during harvest and blend, and one after I can travel and traveling and explain why is it a good quality and why the aroma of this champagne and why you have to taste Champagne Lallier and not just be focused on big brand, because you have so many wine and champagne to test, so just test everything.
Everything. I completely agree.
More you test, more you will know, and it's better.
How is that awesome advice from a champagne maker? Is taste everything, everything. I love it. Look, that's just part one of my chat with Constance, which was just so much fun, and she's an absolute delight and just so amazingly talented. So please, 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 please don't miss out on the other 4 parts of the interview. Constance and I managed to chat on our Facebook Live for an hour, which I don't think talking about champagne for an hour is difficult for either of us. But I did break it down into a few smaller bite-sized chunks because that's a lot to take in one sitting. So in the next 4 parts, we get into wine tasting, and we taste 4 of the beautiful champagnes from Champagne Lallier. So we start with the R013. We have the Blanc de Blanc and the Grand Rosé and the Vintage Brut 2008, which are all just beautiful wines. And it's so exciting to hear about the wines from the person who makes the wines. I mean, nobody knows them any better than that. So that's really great for us. You can hear what Constance thinks about her own wines, and you can see my reaction to them. But I'll give you a bit of a hint. It was love, 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 because they were beautiful. So please check out those videos, and thanks for listening.